Everybody, it's your girl Cherrell. I'm the host of Let's Talk the Show, and this ain't a podcast. I want to thank you guys for tuning in with me and being patient with me. I know I am late starting tonight, you guys. But we're gonna jump right into it, you guys. We got a great show in store for you today. We got two topics to talk about instead of one. And tonight we are going to be talking about C-sections, and because April's C-section awareness, and we're going to be talking about women who do not want children. But make sure you guys know that we got to start the right way. We got to jump off with what are you grateful for. So drop in the comment section something you're grateful for. And as always, I'll kick it off. I am grateful for today. Today I'm grateful for... I don't have nothing I'm grateful for. I mean, not nothing I'm grateful for. I'm going to say keep it short and sweet. Today I'm grateful for just having the strength to get up here and do tonight's show because I was truly considering about canceling. I do not feel good, but we going to put that in the back and we're going to keep going. So I am grateful tonight to still have the strength to get up here and do tonight's show. Make sure you guys drop in the comment section something you're grateful for. And make sure you go ahead and click that arrow in your lower right corner and share this conversation with 3 friends you think would love the conversation. We got to share the good news about shows that we love. Okay, so we're jumping right into it because I'm really excited to talk about these topics as I feel like both of them are super relatable to me. So we're going to start off with with C-sections. April is C-section or Cesarean Awareness Month worldwide, okay? And if you guys don't know what a C-section or cesarean is, it is a childbirth surgery, and it usually consists of an incision in the womb to remove the child. So I do want to give you guys a little background on the C-section because it's really important to know about the roots, about where things come from. So they started as early as the Romans, like I believe it said the 15s or something like that. Basically, and the Romans were the first to ever really call it a C-section, but it wasn't to actually deliver babies. It was more of a religious, spiritual type thing. But it wasn't until the 1600s that the C-section actually came in as far as medical procedures, and it actually was a last resort, which often had tragedy result. A lot of women and children died as a part of the earlier versions of the C-sections. As it progressed on into the 1900s, a lot more women were getting C-sections, and medical advancements and science advancements have been able to really save more women and children as a result of it. And C-sections are not a last resort option to saving women and children. In fact, 1 in 3 children born today are born via a C-section. And these are not, this is not a procedure that you would get in-house. Like a lot of people have home births and things like that. A C-section is only something that you would receive in a hospital setting. And a lot of people get them for various reasons. I know a lot of women may get a C-section if they're carrying multiple children. Health reasons, several STDs, if you have them, would be a reason for you to get a C-section, because your child can be born by passing through the vaginal canal, birthing canal, whatever. Your child could be infected with a certain STD, so they would actually have you go through a scheduled C-section to prevent that child being born with it. And you guys know I got to give our facts about our Black women. Black women are 3 times more likely to die during childbirth due to negligent medical staff. This is just racism in the medical industry. That's just the reality. You've seen it time and time again. I know that back in 2018, when I was pregnant with my son, I saw a lot of horror stories. There is a judge that is on TV that you guys may know about. I can't think of her name, but I believe her daughter-in-law died from hemorrhaging during childbirth. She was ignored. Her requests and demands and concerns were ignored, and she ended up dying. So have many other Black women during childbirth. So it is a very serious thing, and a lot of people think that a C-section is no big deal. A C-section is such a serious surgery that they ask for it on any medical form. If you ever look at a medical form, especially the dentist, or just any other medical form, they ask have you had any major surgeries, and a cesarean is specifically listed because it goes through so many layers of tissue. And from what I've been told, I mean, I had a C-section as well, but what I've been told is that they take body parts out and put them in different categories and little sections in order to get the baby out. So C-sections are very serious. I know I did mention about, Black women being 3 times more likely to die in childbirth. And I will say this, getting a C-section was not planned. I know that I was going to be induced during my labor with my son. But what happened was when they prep you, they like, you know, you're already naked because you're in a gown and stuff like that. But when they prepped me and stuff, I don't remember being prepped actually. They prepped me and they took me in there and they put like heating pads and things on my arm because I was shaking so much. I was so cold. And I remember laying there and my son's father is like, I'm laying back and he's like right here on my ear. And I know about the horror stories. I done the research, okay? I'm hella paranoid. I ain't never had no surgery. I never broke no bones. The most I ever had was stitches that on my thumb that I cut like from a box cutter at work. And, you know, they're preparing to cut me open and stuff, and they're tapping my body to make sure that I'm numb. And I remember telling my son's father, like, do not let them kill me. And he, like, chuckled at first. And I looked at him like, bitch, I'm dead ass. Do not let them fucking kill me. Like, do not let me die on this table for this fucking kid. No cap. I love my son to death, and I would die for my baby. I would live for my baby. But I told dog, do not let them kill me. Do not let me die on this table bringing this kid earthside. And that was no bullshit. And he was like, I think when he got the just that I was serious, he kind of like looked at me like, all right, like kind of reassuring me, like, you're not going to die. I'm not going to let you die. That's how serious, that's how serious I was, because I know that a C-section usually results in death because of infections or hemorrhaging. That is those two are the number two causes for women that die behind after C-sections is because of an infection. Somehow your stitches get infected, somehow the inside gets infected, or you hemorrhage. You basically are bleeding out internally. And I think that was kind of a concern that they may have had for me after my C-section, because I had an epidural. And I think the way that it was kind of broken down to me is that after your surgery, you're still getting medication. Like after they poke you with the epidural, it's like when they do your blood, they take the needle out, but that little tube remains in you, and that tube remains in your back. That's how they're giving you the medication with the epidural. So they poke you, but they funnel a little tube through it, right? Hey, so after my C-section, I was in a lot of pain, and I kept complaining about it, which, hear me out, I kept complaining, like, I'm in pain. And let me say this, when I had my C-section, I was in pain. I could feel the pressure, the pulling, and the tugging of them on my abdominal area. I could feel it, and I was complaining to my doctor, like, can you hurry? I remember this. Can you hurry? I can feel it. I don't know what was happening at that time or if my medication was wearing off, but I remember the pulling and the tugging of them sewing me back together with my C-section. I could feel, like, if you sit up like this and you tighten your stomach muscles, that's how it felt when they were stitching me back up. Like, I could feel like tightening, and it was so painful. And I kept asking, are you done? Can you hurry? I can feel it. And they kept trying to tell me, like, no, you're feeling pressure. Like, no, I can feel like me physically tightening my stomach muscles. And anyways, we got past that. We got out, and I'm feeling pain, you guys. This is like after the C-section, I've seen my baby. I am in the bed, and I am feeling pain. And I've been telling them, I don't know for how long, I'm feeling pain. Like, I'm in pain. And they're like, no, you're not. And I'm like, yes, I am. Like, I've been in pain for so long. And you guys, it's no lie. The nurse comes in, and she leans me forward. And as she leans me forward, the tube for my epidural is like just stuck to my back. It's no longer inserted in my back. And she goes, oh my God, your tube is out. And what I think happened was that somehow in the process, that tube came out my back that was funneling me medicine to keep me numb or whatever happened. That medicine had wore off. I wasn't getting it, which is why I was in pain and why I was complaining. So when she checked my back, my tube just basically kind of fell off. It was stuck to my back. It wasn't in me anymore. I wasn't getting any pain medication. So me consistently telling them that I was in pain was because I actually was in pain. I wasn't getting pain medication anymore. And that was the thing where after that surgery, they don't want you to stand up without assistance because they assume that your legs are still numb. But I was already in pain. I was feeling shit. So I think that was kind of an issue for me afterwards because I ended up standing up. What they don't want you to do is stand up. And so I'm a hard head and I'm a mind over matter type person. So after my surgery, I stood up unassisted. And that was really dangerous. I could have fallen. I could have hurt myself. I could have bust my stitches and potentially increase my chances for an infection or hemorrhaging. But I'm a hard head, make a soft ass type person. I've always kind of been like that. So, but yeah, I end up standing up. unassisted after my C-section, and I was fine. I took a couple steps and sat down. I was all right. But I ended up telling my nurse, and she kind of like got in my ass about that. So yeah, you have to be really careful. It's super important when you have one. Like they tell you, they don't want you like walking or lifting heavy items. They don't even let you walk out of the hospital. They want you to in the wheelchair and you carry the baby on top of you. I do remember that the first thing I learned about after having a C-section is that you can't laugh and you can't cough. I never even knew how much muscle it take to laugh and cough until somebody cracked a joke and I went to laugh and I was in so much pain. But the way you relieve the pain is that you just like put a pillow right by your stomach and you hold it if you have to laugh. And so that was like a big thing. That was like probably the scariest thing about it. I think I don't know, like, you know, healing time for C-sections are really different for people. It really does vary per woman. Me and my sister had a very similar birth when it comes to our sons. And we both healed completely different. My sister, I felt like she said she had a much longer healing process, whereas me, I was like, probably shouldn't have been doing what I was doing. I was like walking upstairs. I was carrying my baby. I really should not have been doing what I was doing, but I was up and out and about. Like, I remember my sister and her friends cracking a joke like, your sister just had a baby. Like, why is she moving so much? I was up and out and about. I could not sit still. It was depressing sitting still, especially after having a C-section when that wasn't a part of your birth plan. So, you know, the healing process really does vary per woman. It does leave a scar. I've followed several women who talk about their C-section scar. Some women get really lucky and they make it really low. Like, it can go literally just right above the split where your vagina lips are. Like, some people have gotten it really low. Mine's isn't that low, I don't think. But I know a lot of people have talked about, the honesty is that it's a big scar. And if you see it, you kind of almost know what it is. A lot of women have talked about insecurities around that scar, and I feel like it makes complete sense, especially being that all doctors just aren't careful. You know, it's not their body. They're not very sensitive about it. Sometimes they're rough. Sometimes women's scars develop keloids on them. Sometimes they just don't look attractive sometimes. And that's completely understandable. I really want to encourage every woman who has had a C-section or multiple C-sections that has a scar. Like, it's a part of you, baby. You bought these babies earthside. And I feel like however the fuck they got here is how they got here. And you should be really proud of it. I personally don't mind my scar. I'm a little weird like that. Like, I never broke a lot of bones or anything. And so scars to me are kind of like, I don't know, I kind of like them. Someone says, a friend of mine says her scar is numb. That's what I was going to get to. My scar is numb. My scar is I don't have any sensitivity, any feeling amongst that area, and like a little bit below and a little bit above. Honestly, my scar is actually numb too. It's like you can still see like the little holes where they actually suture, where the needle goes through, which is really cool to me. But I don't think it's anything to be ashamed of. But yeah, I don't know. Mine is numb. I don't have any pain in the area. You would think that when it comes to like periods and stuff, I don't have any, it doesn't bother. I will say that if I wear any underwear or something like too tight or anything that's too pressing on that area, it does get a little sensitive. But outside of like stuff constantly rubbing on it, I don't really have any pressure or any pain or anything with it. I know another thing was that it was really swollen initially, which makes sense. But they usually just say that's like the swelling and stuff. And as you go through the postpartum process, your body starts to go back to normal. You lose the weight, you'll lose the water retention, and it usually goes down and it smooths out. I will say for women who do have C-section scars, something that I found really helpful was an exfoliator. I found that it makes the scar a lot smoother, a lot lighter, and it really does just improve the overall appearance of the scar. That's something that's really worked for me. And just kind of like, honestly, I know a lot of gynecologists usually like recommend going panty free. Like that really to me has really just helped the appearance overall of my scar, and a lot smoother, a lot softer. It's not as raised, and I know like those are just like a few things that have really helped with my scar. Other than that, hell, most of the time I almost forget that it's there. I feel like the closer you get to delivering your baby, the more ways you like start to panic. You're like, shit, how can we get this baby outside of it, out of my vagina? Another thing is that a lot of people say once you get a C-section, you'll have to get it again. I would say that you should talk to your doctor about that. Sometimes that's not the case, and a lot of women have had successful vaginal deliveries after having a cesarean, even after having several cesareans. I will say that a lot of people say after having a cesarean they want to go vaginally. I am going to say, honestly, if I have another child, which I probably will, I've been thinking about it lately. If I have another child, I think I do want another cesarean, because I just do not want the pressure of having to push you out. I really feel like I could jump back up into the motion of things like I did before and heal really quickly. Even though, each birth is different, I just feel like get me in, get me out, and let's do the thing, So that's my take. Some women just are like, no, I don't want a surgery, but like I said, I would always encourage every woman to have a birth plan. That is, to me, that is the most important thing. I feel like I could have avoided a cesarean had I strategically or been more intentional about my birth plan, and had I communicated that with those that were in the room with me. I feel like that's where I messed up, not communicating what I had in place and what I wanted it done in case I was capable of talking for myself. The only thing that I did make sure of was that I did not request an epidural first. That was a big thing for me, because I know pain is inevitable. It's obviously a part of the process. But the one thing that I did do when it came to having my son was making sure that I was aware of all the pain medications that I could receive prior to receiving the epidural. That is like the epitome of pain medication during labor. So I really made sure that there were other avenues that I could pursue before having to get an epidural, because the risks are so high. They have to poke you, you move a second, or you catch a contraction, you can potentially go paralyzed. So that's one thing that I absolutely encourage. Explore all avenues of pain medication before asking for an epidural. I believe it's dope or something. I don't even want to tell y'all the wrong thing. Talk to your gynecologist. Ask them what pain medications can I receive prior to receiving an epidural. They'll give you a list of them. My gynecologist did. She was also the woman that performed my gynecologist was also my OB. So that means she also performed my surgery alongside another doctor. And she also performed my son's circumcision. There you go. I almost forgot all these damn C's. So yeah, my gynecologist was my OB. She was there throughout my entire pregnancy. She performed my cesarean, and she also performed the circumcision on my son. A lot of people in the city are really familiar with her. I'm not giving her name out. But yeah, so I really like her. She, I feel like she did a wonderful job. She ignored me a little bit, but she always gives me mama vibes. Like, she's, she always ignores me to a degree. Like, you're so dramatic, Cherrell, la, 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 she gives me mom vibes to a certain extent. But I feel like she did a wonderful job. So yeah, I always encourage every woman, get a birth plan, communicate it with everyone that you anticipate will be in the room or be present at the time of birth, or everybody, your main people. Yeah, you guys have any questions? I'm trying to think about everything about giving birth. Only one of my sisters had a vaginal birth. Me and my sister next to me had both C-sections, very similar, induced labors. And then my sister before that what appeared to be an induced labor, and then she ended up actually going vaginal, which was super exciting. We were so happy for her. I did not want my little sister to have to experience that. I wouldn't say it was traumatizing for myself, because I felt like, again, I'm a mind over matter person. So if that shit happened, like, I don't give a fuck. I'm about to get over it. I'm gonna get through it. I'm gonna trump this shit. That's me. So after a C-section, I was like, I'm big dog to this shit. Baby, I'm about to walk this off, like, for real. And I really did that shit. Like, I was in pain. There's a 48, 92 hour rule, which is 48 for vaginal, 92 hours for a cesarean. I was in the hospital about 4.5, 5 days, and I was in there miserable as fuck. And every day I was in the hospital, I was in pain. When I got my ass home, I wasn't in no pain. I was up walking, which is how I know that if you put the effort and energy into healing in your mind, your body will do it. You have to, it's painful, but you can't allow yourself to dwell on the pain and to fall victim to your pain. You have to get up, you have to move, and you have to keep up here okay, because if here is not okay, down here and everywhere else is never going to be okay. So that's like the number one tip I have for healing from a cesarean is get it in your mind, Pain is temporary. I'm going to get through this. I'm going to beat it. And that's exactly how you're going to get through it, because I didn't give a fuck. I was like, bitch, surgery where? Carrying my kid up the stairs. It was and I'm telling you all this because this was me, and I do not recommend this, because so many things that I did could have truly caused me to rip my stitches or even have an infection or hemorrhage, because I really would not sit still. Like, anybody will tell you that knows me, I be on a go, okay? And if I ain't on a go, something wrong. So having a baby and being on a go after cesarean was nothing different. But I definitely recommend putting it in your mind first that I'm going to get past this. Pain don't last forever. And put it in here, you're going to get better, you're going to heal. And I promise you, everything else is going to fall into play. Definitely eating right. Your diet is always the number one thing. I wouldn't say exercise. You really got to talk to your doctor about that. But I think that light exercises, going for a walk, taking your baby out for a walk, home exercises, just really relaxing a lot of time and allowing your body to heal, because it is a major surgery. Like I said, they ask for it on any medical form if you've had any major surgeries, and a cesarean is always specifically listed, because I think it is probably one of the most major surgeries that you can have. And from what I've seen is that they cut through so many layers of tissue and they literally take your organs out. So yeah. And see you guys joining in. Hey everybody, make sure you guys click that arrow in the lower right corner and share this conversation with 3 friends you think will love it. And we're going to keep going, because I didn't want to make this all about cesarean, but I definitely wanted to talk about that because it's obviously something I can relate to. Like I said, my son was born via cesarean. And yeah, so I'm super excited. But we're going to get into one I was really, really excited to talk about, which are childless women. Okay, let me tell y'all. I am team fuck them kids. And you can only say fuck them kids if you take care of them kids. Like, thoroughly take care of your child. Not if you sometimes do a little bit here and there. No. If you take care of your child like you're supposed to 24/7, whether you're the primary parent or not, then you can say fuck them kids, right? So I am team fuck them kids. Woo! To the women that do not want to have kids, shout the fuck out to y'all, because I think that you have obviously been involved in so many uncomfortable conversations. And I feel like the number one question that women who say they don't want children get is why. And I feel like, why the fuck does it matter? Why matter? Like, anybody with kids, especially black people, like, they'll tell you, girl, wait till later to have kids. And I feel like it's because we have such a bad perspective on kids that we're just like, don't have no kids. But I think kids are a beautiful thing. And I think it's also a beautiful thing if you don't want these little motherfuckers. I literally say all the time, like, I never could imagine myself having a kid. It was always like the idea, like, I want to get married, I want to have a kid. And so that's just normally how it goes. But it's like, I have my son now, and it's like, oh my goodness, I'm so grateful to have my kid. But children are a lot. They are a lot in ways that you do not imagine. I literally thought about how much gas I spent dropping my kid off somewhere that's completely out of the way just so that I can go do something. And it's like, kids cost things that you never thought. The amount of gas that people spend just to take their kids from their extracurricular activities, the extra dentist appointment, the amount of time, the amount of extra stress that having a kid adds to your life is like, probably you can't even calculate it. So I can understand why women don't want children. I don't think it's anything wrong with not wanting children. I don't feel like we need to be questioning them women. We need to be thanking them women. I know, like, lately you've seen a lot of people come out. Like, we know a lot of famous women do not have children. We know Oprah, most notably Oprah, does not have children. And I've also seen a clip of Mary J. Blige talking about why she hasn't had children, which sounded like a split decision of her having not met the right man and the lack, like, she would lose her freedom. And I feel like, being honest, I feel like as a mother, that was the number one thing. Outside of not feeling like yourself, but the number one thing is your freedom. And it's like, people get so delusional and caught up in motherhood and are like, a child doesn't stop me. My child didn't stop me. You a fucking fool. Your child slowed you the fuck down, okay? Delayed a little bit of the fucking process. And that's just the reality, because now you are not the focus. When you are the focus, you can do whatever, leave whenever, be whatever, whenever you want to. But when you have a child, it does slow the process down, because instead of me just getting dressed going out the door, I gotta get dressed, get you dressed, pack your bag, and get out the door. And I gotta strap you in a car. So no, you didn't stop me, but children definitely can slow down the process. They can make you take a detour. And I feel like anybody that's saying otherwise is delusional. Absolutely delusional. Yes, our children are blessings, and yes, they may be a part of the plan, but nonetheless, they slowed it down a little bit. And I think that's whether or not you plan them or they're a surprise. So I think that children absolutely do slow down the plan. They delay it a little bit. You know, they get you caught up, tripped up a little bit. But I think that's okay if that's what you choose. And if you don't choose to have children, I think that's okay too. I don't think there's anything wrong with women having children. In fact, since 2018, statistics have stated over 40% of Black women do not have children. And I think that is a beautiful, beautiful thing. I think your freedom to go when you want, I feel like to be able to be selfish, to have all your time, all your money, all your food, all your sleep. You bitches I'm jealous of, okay? I hate, no cap, sharing food and co-sleeping are like top 2 worst parts of parent. No capping. Because I try not to be cranky. I really try to manage my attitude and my temper. But I am a bitch when I don't get enough sleep. I'm so mad. I'm aggravated. And when I have to share food after my kid has eaten 10 times and I ain't eaten once, I am pissed, okay? Easily top 2 worst things of parenting. So I feel like women who decide not to have children, you're brave. You're honest. I respect you. I'm a little jealous of you because you can go somewhere and you may got to strap no kid in. But I think that's not a life that I want to live anymore. I don't really have a choice to live without a kid, right? But I think that we should really absolutely stop questioning women who decide to not have children. And we need to really start questioning people who decide that women who don't want children are the bad person. Not having children is okay. That's a great decision to make. Just like having them is a great decision to make. And I think that childless women are really going to, I don't know, I feel like somehow they're going to have like an advantage somewhere in like the workforce. And you know, when they can just up and go, I feel like child-free women just have like, well, they ain't got to spend their time nowhere. I feel like, you know, they just got a little advantage in the workplace, you know, fewer days to call off and stuff like that. They just got an advantage. Okay, go pee, babe. But that brings me to the end of the show, you guys. I have to wrap up because as a mom with a kid, as a woman with a kid, I have to work on potty training. 1 second, guys. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, sit down. So sorry about that, guys. Like I said, potty training is in full effect right now. And so that's what I'm doing. But as always, you guys, you know I got to go out the same way I came in. Thank you so much. I need you guys to drop something in the comment section that you're grateful for. You know what? I'm going to say this. As always, I'm grateful to have done this show because I really physically do not feel good and I really didn't want to do it. But those are always the shows I have the most fun on. So I'm glad God gave me just enough strength and just enough time to get through this episode before my kid came in crying. So yeah, I'm grateful to have had enough strength to get through the episode. I thank you guys for tuning in with me this Tuesday like you guys do every Tuesday. Yeah, and I think that's all I got for you guys tonight. Make sure you guys click that link in our bio, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and make sure you share this episode with a friend. Please, I really appreciate if you guys, if one person, 2 people, if anybody just takes this episode after it's posted live and just share it. I greatly appreciate it. Yeah, and let's see, I'm grateful for the place where I am in life. Okay, you can't be mad at that. We'll be watching the replay. Thank you so much, and great show as always. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's all I got for you guys tonight. My name is Cherrell Carter, you guys. I'm the host of Let's Talk the Show, and this ain't a podcast. I'll see you guys next Tuesday. Peace.